Now we have Rev Kathy Gallmor today, which, by the way, we will have spirit art. She brought it with her. She's a certified medium and ordained minister from this Camp Chesterfield, and she was ordained in 2005. She's an artist, a spirit artist, and she does it through divine beings that work through you, right?
Right.
And they connect to her, and even though you don't really draw, they draw through you.
Right.
So her images of guides, angels, and loved ones, they're very beautiful. I knew Reverend Kathy Gallmor for many years, and she has so much love that she brings forth in everything she does. And she doesn't know it, but it comes through very strongly to everyone around her. And she cares very deeply. So now I give you Reverend Kathy Gallmor.
Thank you. And good morning.
Good morning.
I'm also going to start with a joke. This father had two young boys that were known for their mischievous behavior. Anytime trouble occurred, they were certain to be a part of it. The father decided at his wit's end that he was going to take them to the pastor, take them one at a time to see if he could correct this. The pastor had the first little boy there, and he said to him, "Where is God?" They sat in silence. And then the pastor asked again, "Where is God?" Still no reply. Then on the third time, the pastor asked, "Where is God?" The little boy got up, bolted out the door, ran to his house, and said to his brother, "God is missing, and they think we did it." In Matthew 19:19 states, "Honor your father and mother, and you shall love your neighbor as yourself." And I'm not sure all this information is the same. July the 19th, 1910, the governor of the state of Washington proclaimed the first Father's Day in his state. However, it was not until 1972, 58 years after President Woodrow Wilson made Mother's Day official, that Father's Day became a national holiday in the United States. I looked this up on the internet, so it's unquestionably right. Or not.
Well, mine just began in Washington, where it became Father's Day, not in,
It was
United
at
States.
1910?
yes.
Okay. So it became official for the United States then?
Wow, it didn't, it was just for the state of Washington.
Oh, right. That's what it sounded like to me.
But it, of course, later on, it went further than that.
Right. Yes. Today is one of the busiest days of the year because people are, and I don't mean just Hallmark, people are going out to dinner. People are calling. Now family is scattered all over the United States. So there's calling back and forth to wish their fathers happy Father's Day. Today, sons and daughters set aside this day to express gratitude for telling fathers, thank you for what he meant to them. I'm going to go over some things that we are grateful for and learning from our fathers. The first thing is fathers give us our name. And there's a whole story that you could come up with the fathers giving names. Fathers give us their family history, the history of where they are from, maybe their health in the family, maybe the area in the United States they came from. But this lets us know that we're never alone. that there is family around us. And that brings those ideas from their history of the past into the future, setting up and making bigger dreams. Our fathers give us security by teaching us what we need to learn and how to reach for these dreams. We receive knowledge from our fathers from right and wrong, respect for other human beings, and a faith in God. God gives the children the ability to voice and hear what they need to be said. Babies start off very young, listening around to where these voices are coming from. The father's voices are typically lower, so that gets their attention. And then they want to keep following this voice. It becomes very important. They follow this voice around. Daddy is one of the first words most babies start off with. Children are like sponges. They watch everything. They listen to everything. They want to know what's going on. When I was watching my 11-year-old grandson, who was at that time around 3 or 4, he would watch for his father or my son. And I can remember at the door, he would cry, "Don't go, don't go, don't go." And I said, well, he's got to, because we've got to get to the window to wave. If we don't get to the window to wave, then he won't be able to leave. And the same thing would happen when he would be coming home. My son was working at GM at the time, and he was a senior leadership technology program executive support consultant. I had to write that down. And when he was on his way home, he would usually stop and pick up whatever they might need for the evening. One day I was talking to my grandson and I said, well, what is your father's job? And he said, he works at the grocery store, because he always came in with a grocery bag. It was much later that they had bring your child to work one day. So he actually found the desk where he was at. They gave him a car, and he was able to bring his intentions up as far as what the daddy's job was. Talking about the principles of our fathers reminds me of the lessons we live and teach as spiritualists, where all of you know. Let me mention a few that come to mind that might remember that you have learned right here, or maybe from your father. Our fathers are probably the first ones to teach us how to pray, bringing God into our thoughts and lives when we are really small. The famous "Now I lay me down to sleep." It's probably the first prayer that you could remember. I think younger people now have a calmer prayer that they say at bedtime, and they use that now. Prayer is extremely important and a powerful tool that we need to use daily. Through prayer, as spiritualists, we know it raises our vibration to a higher energy. It opens your heart, your mind, and your spirit to a larger love of God. Teaching prayer is a tool for all spiritual growth. And when you think about it, it's an introduction to natural law, the law of attraction. It brings things to you. As a young father, they're taught to teach their children to use their words. When children are pointing and whatever, use words. use your words. It is the start of teaching language. Even on Sesame Street, Big Bird backs up what fathers taught. If you don't ask, you will never get what you want. Another law of attraction. As in the TV show, The Nanny, we are introduced to the concept of the naughty chair. Now, a lot of parents are teaching this. When a child misbehaves, they have to sit quietly in one designated place for a number of minutes, depending on how old they are. A 3-year-old would sit for 3 minutes, a 4-year-old for 4 minutes. They are there to think of their behavior and what they would do differently. Ending up, they have to repeat those words, what they learned from sitting there, what they would do differently. And then they have to say, I'm sorry. We as spiritualists do the same thing. When we sit quietly and go within, listen to what Spirit says. What are we hearing inside? I know I might be stretching this a bit, but parents could be teaching meditation to their children for years now, and we didn't call it that. When somebody takes the time to be silent, to quiet your internal dialogue, it is guiding you to silence. Your intuition takes over. Your interpretations of what's good and not is what you're watching. Solitude is necessary for your spiritual growth. I know when I started taking classes with Reverend Terry Ryan, meditation was one of the most important things he taught. And you could tell the people that took the time to meditate were the ones that grew spiritually faster. When you meditate, you connect with God. You connect with your higher guides and spirit. I remember a story about a monk. His name is Han, and his 5-year-old niece. She was thirsty after playing outside one afternoon. His niece came into the house, and Hans gave her a glass of freshly made apple juice. There were bits floating in the juice. He put the glass in front of her, and she refused it, saying, "It's dirty." And she protested she would not drink it. The monk promised her he had just made this juice fresh and it would be delicious. But she insisted the juice was dirty. She could still see things in it. So he just shrugged his shoulders and went back into his meditation room. About a half an hour later, he came out. And he went into the kitchen where his niece met him with a big smile. Reaching for the juice, she said, "Look, the apple juice got clean." He explained to her that the juice really wasn't any cleaner. It was just that the bits of apple had settled to the bottom of the glass. His niece looked up at him and said, "Is that why you meditate, Uncle? So you can get clean like the apple juice?" Hans simply smiled. Meditation is a wonderful way to clean ourselves. When you find yourself stressed out, maybe overloading, swirling and confused, it is wise to take a break. After meditation, the mind is able to see the situation that lies in front of you more clearly, just like the apple juice out of the mouths of children. Prayer and meditation, which you have all learned here, is two of the most important practices for spiritualists and fathers teaching and practicing with their children. I could go on and on. It's our Father and our spiritual leaders that teach us to set our goals. And this is why we're able to accomplish things. Setting goals is like holding up the container, waiting for it to be filled. But if you don't have the container, if you don't have that, your goals, what you want might just go on by. Goals are important. Parents are also in charge of making you understand you have choices. Asking yourself really what I want and listening to your body to tell you what is right for you. Listen to your feelings and ask your body, how do I feel about this? If the body sends a signal of physical or emotional distress, watch out. If the body responds with joy and comfort, it's a signal, go for it. Again, it's your choice. Fathers all start by asking, making the children have their choice. Let's say it's lunchtime. Okay, what would you like? Mac and cheese, a burger, a hot dog? A decision must be made. Even as young children, they're starting to make choices. Make it and learn from it. When the best decision is a hot dog, of course, there has to be mustard with it and ketchup. Let us celebrate today the love of our fathers and those that have served as fathers and shared over the years with us. Fathers are very high on the importance of teachers. They teach protection, honoring, guiding, education, and being kind to others. Thank you all, dads, everywhere, who have enjoyed, embraced joy involving selfless fatherhood. Thank you.